You know, Brighton, any oppressor would want to give us a semblance of engagement when we're engaging him at his terms. And this is the mistake that we are making as a country. We want to engage ZANU-PF at their terms. When the ZANU-PF courts say, let's do this, we jump. When ZANU-PF tries to orchestrate and engineer things, we want to go there. And for us to then say there's no ZANU-PF hand in this, after reading what Jeremiah Pam wrote about that judgment that was given, that bad CCC candidates to contest, I think we'll be wasting our time. We know that ZANU-PF is taking advantage of these things as a party, but state institutions should have stayed clear of internal politics. The fact that ZANU-PF then robbed in state institutions, the judiciary and ZEC, to do some of these weird things shows that ZANU-PF is not prepared to concede to anything. What must happen now? Every opposition party must pull out from any form of government, local government or House of Assembly, pull out en masse. Let's collapse this thing and say this thing is not delivering our freedom. The problem that I have is that we seem to be led by an opposition leader now who generally either does not have a spine or does not walk the talk. In 2018, after claiming that elections were rigged, we were told that we will go everywhere, we will make the country ungovernable. But nothing happened until 2023. What we need now, we need opposition leaders, collectively, myself included, to agree that we are now collapsing government because we want to deliver freedom for our people. Because our silence shows the world that maybe there is a peace in the country or there is democracy. It's a fake peace. It's a fake democracy. We don't know that when it explodes, what is going to happen. CCC, ZAPU, MDCT, or any other person who won a councillor or an MP must pull out of this thing, collapse government, take to the streets, protest, do everything reasonably possible to steer the country back on course. Nelson Mandela said we can only use the language of peace if the oppressor that you are dealing with understands the language of peace. This language of being pacified by ZANU trinkets, of having an MP there, councillor there, must come to an end. We need to change gears and save the country, if not for our sake, for the sake of our children. Brighton, some of us are in exile. We want to come back home. Those at home have no salaries. They have no future. Abantu Kabalama life assurance. They have no policies. They have nothing. If you stopped working today, Brighton, there is no way you are going to have any policy that can take care of you, or life assurance or support system or social services that are coming from social security nets that are coming from government that can take care of you. And this applies to us, our generation, and that of our parents. And if we're not careful, our children too. We must come to a point where we say enough is enough. We cannot be held at ransom by a few people that are in ZANU-PF. Let's collapse this thing and build the country from scratch. If you understand the history of this country, even Smith offered our fathers during the liberation struggle a few trinkets. At one time, remember, the country was called Zimbabwe Rhodesia. And I doubt that it would have made sense for us to argue and say at least blacks are there in parliament. They are cardinal foundational principles that when one is elected into parliament or any government position, assumes they are in place. And at this particular time, we were saying that these cardinal principles and foundational principles of a government have been collapsed. And because we are protesting that, we're not saying they should just leave parliament and they go and sit somewhere and sulk, number one. Number two, there is a notion that you can't respond to what is happening in parliament if you're not a parliamentarian. It shows that we do not understand how to engage parliament. Citizens have a right. The people of Zimbabwe have a right to engage parliament on any issue, even bills. I mean, there's hearings and stuff like that, just to gauge what people are saying. We can do that. But now our objective is not to have nice political statements and grandstanding and articulate issues in parliament. Somebody gave an example of Themba Mliswa. Wonderful example, but what did it achieve? Nothing. We have had this stalemate for the last 10 years. From 2013, we have been here, having wonderful people going to parliament saying wonderful things. But because ZANU-PF is closing space for opposition in terms of maneuvering, we achieved nothing. We have the likes of Priscilla Mizairambi Mshonga. Wonderful debates in parliament, but what came out of that? It is nothing. It is only a fool, ladies and gentlemen, that will continue to do the same thing over and over and over and over again and hope that we are achieving something. This thing of saying when someone goes to parliament and says wonderful things and debates and says, hey, the tax is killing people and stuff like that, and we feel pacified, we feel good about it. These feel good feelings that we are having and experiencing now are the reason why we will not be able to give birth to our freedom. Let's pull out of this thing and come up with a strategy of engaging government. Because when things go wrong, we are not part of them. But if you are in parliament, I said earlier, you are part of government. When things go wrong, you are also culpable. So we're saying, let's pull out and allow ZANU-PF to do whatever they want about their win and their victory, and to focus on other things. Then somebody spoke about the issue of local authority. What is the role of a councillor in local authority besides policy making? Going to funerals and stuff like that is not the role of councillors. Councils are run, the core business of council is done by the administrative staff. You have your town clerk and stuff like that. These are people that run councils. And we're saying councillors at the policy level, the government of Zimbabwe has made it impossible for them to push their agenda of policy. So whether they are there or not, they are not able to execute their job. So we cannot say the people are being disenfranchised from a service because councillors are not there. Even if councillors are not there, we have the admin staff that is there full time, the civil service of council that is ensuring that things are happening. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to come to a point where we are saying, what is it that we want? Do we want to have a cosmetic democracy, or we really want to fight for the freedom of our people? And parliament at this particular stage can just be a platform for record keeping to say, Ostalos said this, Sakupwanya said that, but will not be able to deliver our freedom. And when we protest against government and we are in parliament, we are actually protesting against ourselves. And that, to me, doesn't make sense. Thank you.
Greetings to all. My name is Asimi Ngala, the author of Dear Black Child, It Is Okay, which was published in March 2020, and The Dancing Mountains Behind Me, which was published in October 2023. The Dancing Mountains is now available, and you can get your copies from online bookshops, from Amazon, from retailers, and from distributors all around the world. I'd like to thank you all so much for your continued love and support. It is much appreciated. Thank you.